Alright, welcome to round 6 of ALR Tier 2. We've got a chance to go today at Spa, and then we follow this up with a round at Mexico, and then the final round. I actually don't know where the final round is, so please don't judge, but yeah, well, I guess we'll see where we are in 2 weeks' time. But yeah, I know when next week is, so I'm prepared in terms of that, but don't know any further than that. But yeah, let me post the link in for everybody so they can all see. And let me bring up YouTube live chat so I can say hello to everyone. And Heroine Haruas. Probably shouldn't say that on the official ALR account. Let's remove that. Yeah, okay. Hello, Truco. Big King Cova himself. So yeah, we're at Spa. Let me go for... What do I need? I need a leader. I don't need tyre or anything like that. I need all this. Okay, there we go. What am I doing? I'm, a bit lost. Bashed my head earlier on a TV. So, concussion setting in. Might get crazy audio today. But I'll do my best. Hopefully I won't come out with something too dodgy, but if I do, then I'm blaming the concussion. So, we're starting. Trezina is out first. I need to turn the volume down as well. It's very loud. And I also need to get the standings up for everybody. I say for everyone. I'm the only one who's going to see the standings, but that's besides the point. Is Trezina just cut across Eau Rouge since it's saying the track map's red? I don't actually know. Standings is what I'm looking for on my phone. So there was no penalties by the stewards for Tier 2. Tier 2 was all very well behaved last week. In terms of how things are though, the final race is Abu Dhabi. I could have guessed that. In terms of how things are, we've got Lucky High One on a 3-race win streak. He is P11 on the grid right now, but obviously that's just setting our laps and stuff. That's not representative of anything more. We've got Fontanu in second place, 31 points behind Lucky. Starting to get a bit of a chasm there, aren't we? Hallinan's in third, but unfortunately he's missing the race today, with Sven the Men in P4. Tichibun P5, Massacrator finally breaking his podium duck last week. Rocketing all the way up to P6, and then Luke, who is the third driver on the grid who's managed a race win this season. He's in 7th. So we're on board with Trezina. Trezina is 17th in the standings. He's scored points in 1 race so far this season, but he showed really good pace and probably podium level pace in Brazil, but for whatever reason didn't manage to convert it when he outbroke himself going into the pits and DNF'd. So yeah, hopefully he'll do better today. He's already used quite a large percentage of his battery here, but he is the first man on circuit, hitting the apexes really nicely at the source, using 4th gear on that 3rd corner there. It'll be interesting to see what people go with there, but yeah, really smooth into this awkward corner down the hill, that awkward hairpin corner with no name now. 4th gear, battery back on as he makes his way up to 8th gear. Darren is also staying in 7th through Puon. Could have taken a bit more speed through there. I know it's not much to be pointing out, but when you're racing guys of this caliber, any room left on track is gonna drop you down several positions. Missed an apex there a couple corners ago as well. So I imagine this banker from Trezina is probably going to stick him somewhere, sort of like P6 to P10. once everyone's managed their first runs. I don't think it's going to be lights out towards the front, but yeah, it looks like he's topping out already. His car just sort of barely accelerating down those corners, taking the final corner in third gear, then down to second. Bogs down a little bit there because of that, and it's a 44 dead. I think we'll probably see pole position being in the 43s. But yeah, there's plenty of time going. Hello Saeed, welcome to the stream. Not doing bad. There we go, Massacrator on mediums with a 43.6. Putting my point home. Igor following up with a 43.4. Let's go and find someone near the end of the lap. Luke coming across the line using third gear again. Right next to his teammate. My prediction of Trezina being P6 once everyone's finished their runs is probably a bit harsh on him. I think he's going to probably be a little bit above that when I'm looking at the people who have done their laps. Let's go on board with Sven. Just paying attention to the sector time. 1:15.3 is what Sven had at the sector point. So that's something that I always like to do, is I like to pay attention to the sector times, so that I can tell roughly how good the lap is when we go on board. So we see Sven was 1:15.3 across the first two sectors. Pretty poor final corner, which puts him at a 43.7. So I'll be honest, I think if anyone can beat a 15.3, they're in with a shot of pole. I don't think that was a good final sector from Sven. Two McLarens coming across the line. Titsy Boom P8, and then Arctic's Grill is P13. So that's everyone done their first run. Gonna have quite a wait now before everyone comes out for their second laps, because it's such a big track at Spa. So we'll go on board with Fontanu, the closest challenger of Lucky, really, and he's actually going out for another lap here, so it is the right person to go on board with. The car in front of him, is it Massacrator? It is Massacrator also going out for another lap, so we might go on board with Massa. Let's go on board with Massa on his mediums, see what he can do. There's actually not as much of a gap between the softs and mediums on this game, which is why you notice there's always a few guys who end up, I think someone's run out of fuel. Always a few guys who end up with good results despite being on the medium compounds. Massacrator just 1/10 off his 100th, sorry, off his previous qualifying lap. Keeping it very tidy through the hairpin, down the hill. Such an awkward corner. I know I always say that, but it just is. Now down into P1. He does go up to 8th gear. Back down to 7th. He might struggle with getting his car back. His petrol is already, his fuel gauge is already flashing. So it'll be interesting to see. We know Sven was a 1:15.3 across this point, so this will really hit home. I mean, it's the same as Massacrator's final sector. I just really thought he had a bad exit from that final corner, but I guess it is just really tricky in this game. Massacrator is backing out, so I guess we go on board with Fontanu to see how he's doing. Unfortunately, we can't see his timing screen at this point in time because we've been on board with him previously in this lap. Braking down sharply, taking the apexes very nicely there, Fontanu. I feel like this final chicane, bus stop chicane, right? I'm pretty sure it's called. He improves his time by 1/10 and sets an identical time to Luke there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is called the bus stop chicane. It's a very tricky braking zone on this game. It just feels like it's so hard to pick your point, and it's so easy to lock the rears depending on what your brake percentage is. But yeah. Anyway, Naked Champ He's actually going to get a toe. No, he's not. I thought he was going to get a toe all the way down the straight. And he shifts down for Eau Rouge. I'm disappointed. Naked champ, how could you? Looks like we have some people actually trying to go for 3 runs in Q1. I didn't think that would be possible, to be honest, this week with how long the track is. I thought it was going to be 2 runs and sort of that's it, but yeah, you can see Luke is already out for his 2nd run, for example. But yeah. Again, another car that just sounds like it's bottoming out, through that final sector to run up and through Blanchimont down to the bus stop chicane. Pretty decent lap from Naked Champ, no sticks in P8. Go on board with Lucky, the championship leader now. I think that's probably the one that people want to see and see how he's doing. Obviously, Lucky and Masquerator throughout the season have been the two who the two who have been most common on the podium, well, on the top 2 pole for Trezina. 43.1, that's an incredible lap. Lucky's actually invalidated his lap through Blanchimont there, which is unfortunate for him. Let's go on board with Yannicka, who is a 2nd up on, I'm not sure if it's his, her or they, so I feel like Yannicka sounds like a female name, but I don't know because I'm not Hungarian. I could be really misinformed, so I'm just going to go with something non-descriptive, but finishes up in P9 for the reserve. Recently passed the evaluation race, really good to see. Really clean driving from Jan. Who can we go on board with next? I was going to say we could go on board with Igor. A little bit too late as he goes with a 43 dead, just pipping Trezina. Massacrator is also a 10th up on his time though. Tell you what, if we can have someone new up on the top step of the podium, I would love to see that. No offense to Lucky, he's been fantastic all season. I just think it would be nice to see someone new. We've only had 3 people so far in the first 5 races, so why not spread the love a little bit around the field. Come on, Massacrator coming into sector 3 now. It's always quite substantially up on his time. Really good sector 2. I'm not sure how good his sector 3 was last time, but I think there is going to be room for improvement in it. But is there going to be room for 2/10 of improvement is the question, and certainly not if you don't turn into Blanchimont. What was he doing? He just didn't turn in. Is he going to complete his lap fully, or is he going to back? No, he's going to stay backed out. T-Bop. The man who I feel like one of the most improved drivers, well, as he's 2 seconds down in his lap, one of the most improved drivers this season, T-Bop. I felt, well, actually, it could just be he had a poor race in the first race, but I felt watching him in the first race, I didn't really expect anything. And I feel like throughout, he's showing himself to be someone who can fight for big points each week. Currently, though, in terms of the leaderboard, we've got Igor in P1, followed by Trezina. We got Massacrator in P3, followed by Sven the Men. Then T-Bop in P5 with Luke Boost next door to him. Row 4 is Fontanu and the Naked Champ. The row behind them on the grid, we've got Titchboom and El Truco rounding out the, I guess, initial points positions. Then we've got Yannicka in P11, followed by Black Charizard in P12. Arctic Squirrel P13 with Mighty Chump in 14th. Mike Sanson 15th, and then we've got AJ14 and Lucky High One, who either haven't set laps or haven't set good laps just yet, because obviously we know AJ can do much better than that. He was P4 in Kota before he disconnected. Unfortunately, it would have been huge points for him and really would have been good to see, but he unfortunately disconnected. And however, speaking of P4, Fontanu has set a purple middle sector there, and I feel like he was on course for P4, but decided to come into the pits, and even going through the pits he still set a faster lap, but unfortunately it doesn't count. Who can we go on board with? Masquerade is the only one out on circuit, but he's just on a cool down lap. Black Charizard, we can go on him first, because then we'll watch a little bit of Black. No, we can't. Who's that car? Oh, it's Mighty Chump that's halfway through the lap, isn't it? Yeah, we don't need to watch someone on an out lap. When we've got Massacrator in P3 starting his final flying lap. He's out a little bit earlier. I'd expect to see people coming out of the pits sort of now, I guess, to make sure they get round. Anywhere within the next 30 seconds or so is when you'll start to see some movement. And actually, as I've said that, there is quite a few cars that I can see moving in the pit lane. Massacrator pretty much even par with his previous first sector, but nothing to be too ashamed of there. It might have been a really good first sector. Very tidy once again through the long downhill hairpin, hitting every apex really well so far, which is great to see, and sort of the sign of a lap which is either there or thereabouts. A pole a little bit on the grass there on P1, which is going to cause a little bit more understeer and probably lose a little bit of time through P1, but then hitting this apex really nicely again. And taking an early apex for the second half of that chicane. That's not how I'd take it personally, but then again, what do I know about this game? He is 4/10 down, and not gonna lie, I think most of that would have been through P1. Just getting on the grass a little bit on the inside just really prevents you from being able to turn into the corner the way that you want to. I think Mighty Chump is probably the next person who we should go and have a look at. If I'm Masquerade there, I'm trying to save as much as anything as I can. It looks like Mighty Chump is just on a warm-up lap here. Yeah, he's saving his ERS completely. Trezina, though, looks like he might be. I don't think he's once. Oh, he's 79 hundredths of a second up in Sector 1. If he keeps the rest of his lap exactly the same as the way he did last time, he will be taking pole position. Come on, Trezina. I'd love to see a Kick Sauber do something like that. I feel like these guys, they won race 1. Trezina was a reserve driver and he's invalidated. No, he hasn't invalidated. Oh, I'm surprised the game allowed that. I thought that was for sure an invalidation. However, on we move. He's 3/10 down. That's so frustrating. If he could have had his middle sector from last time, he'd be licking his lips right now. Going into the final corner knowing you just have to do it better than you did last time, but it's unfortunate. It looks like perfect weather for qualifying today. And we are in the countdown, so this is the final laps of everybody. Trezina coming across the line. Can he beat his time? Don't know if he will. He doesn't. It's 2/10 down. It's still a respectable lap. Arctic Squirrel is not the next man. Who's the next man across the line? It was Tichibin, but he's already finished. Janika, no, it's Naked Champ. 7/10 up. Come on, Naked Champ. This could put him P4, maybe even P3 if he has a good final sector. To get that battery open as soon as possible, taking the shortest possible run, and it is P3 for the Naked Champ. Let's go watch T-Bop, next man across the line, because I think that car up ahead is coming to the pits. No, it was Igor, same pole position. No, Igor's already on pole position, never mind. No, it was Luke, sorry. I think Luke's just improved on his time, gone up to P5. T-Bop, I have not paid any attention whatsoever to what his time in screens was looking like over the Sector 2 mark. Use that battery up to P3 as well. This is what we'd love to see. Sven is also 5/10 up. That could be another person taking a P3. Fontani just ahead of him. It's pole position for Sven the men. It's a 143 dead. Fontani did improve, but has been shoved down the grid. Let's go on board with Lucky. Lucky. He was on course for pole position there. He was 2/10 quicker than Sven the men. And then he's completely outbroke himself and cost himself half a second. That might be the worst qualifying display we have seen from Aston Martin, which is absolutely crazy to say because they're P5 and P8. P6 and P8, sorry. Just that little... I was saying earlier how tough that final corner is into the bus stop chicane to spot your braking point, and he didn't quite do it, which has lost him half a second to Sven the men. Sven the men, though, taking pole position 4 hundredths of a second ahead of Igor. Trezina P3, T-Bop P4, that's great to see. Fontanu P5 ahead of his championship rival, Lucky High 1. Naked Champ P7, Masquerade P8. If Sven gets a win here, he could potentially jump up to P2 in the standings, I believe. How far behind Fontani is he? He is 18 points behind Font, so he would need Font to not have a great result. But I think a big Sven result here would be good for the championship. Big Sven, big Font. No offense, Lucky, but you can have a week off with a poor result because you've done so well recently. And to be honest, he's in the position where he can afford to have a bad week and he'll still be leading the championship. Anyway, we are just waiting for everyone to get ready to get onto the grid. And then... we can get going. I think people just need to sort out their strategies and everything. Anyway, apologies, I was just reading some messages. It said two-stop strategy. You can do a two-stop here, but the one-stop is quicker if you can stretch it out. We've seen a lot of people here who have actually participated in evaluation races over the past few days, helping sort of new signups to try and get a better idea of where they might be. Everyone on mediums apart from El Truco on the hards and Mike on the softs. Mike actually made his way up to P13, must set a good lap towards the end there. And we'll stick those two on to help with our view, but it is Sven the men with his first pole position of the season. Good to see, and let's see if he can do it. In terms of my predictions, you guys know I love to stick my predictions out there, even if more often than not they're not very good. I'm going to predict Igor to take home the victory today. I'm gonna say Sven will finish P2, and I'm gonna predict Fontanu to come up to P3. I think we're gonna have someone different, hopefully, on the podium that we haven't seen in a while. So let's see. We're coming up to the grid now. Obviously, we gotta wait till AJ at the back of the grid, being held up a little bit from Mighty, until these two make their way to the grid, and then we can get started. Let me know your predictions in the comments. It'd be nice to see who can get more of the podium correct, and obviously if you do, then you can give yourself a little pat on the back, I guess. Anyway, hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone is looking forward to the start of the Premier League season. Everyone is looking forward to 5 red lights at Spa. Sven the men leading the grid away. It looks like an awful... Oh no, I'm watching Igor. It's a good start from Sven. It was an awful start from Igor. Just got so much tyre spin. It looked like there. Everyone making their way through cleanly. No incidents throughout the field, which is great to see. It looked like Font was a little bit squeezed sort of between 3 cars, but managed to get through. All A-OK. However, look at that view. All the cars coming up Eau Rouge. These cars are just so big these days, aren't they? It'd be nice if we had smaller cars so we get more side-by-side action. Igor looking to the outside. He's not getting a move done this time. Oh, contact. Fontanu and T. Morrison. It looked like T. Morrison went in deep into the first corner of the La Source chicane, and obviously had to leave Trezina room for the second apex. However, Trezina is fighting back on T-Bop. T-Bop making a big gap for his teammate here, which is going to be very useful. Massacrator up the inside, but goes way wide at Puon, which is going to give him dirty tyres. Trezina looking back for the move back on Massacrator. He's not going to get it done here for sure. Looks like Fontanu has damage from that contact with T-Bop. And actually, he's defending like crazy from his championship rival. However, we need to go up to the front. Massacrator right on the back of T-Bop. No, I was watching the cars behind. It was Lucky right on the back of Fontanu. Lucky high one. Back up to his starting position of P6 there. Massacrator's made a phenomenal start, by the way. He was down in like, oh, Lucky locking up again into that final corner. Fontanu causing chaos because of his damage here. Massacrator is now, oh my god, we've had a spin. It's Mike who spun. Not sure what he's doing there. We had an incident where Mike spun about 15 times in Britain, and there was some concern around the grid that it might have been a bit of tomfoolery going on, but he had rear wing damage. Let's hope he hasn't got the same here today, because that rear wing damage is just absolutely undrivable. As soon as he's braking, the car's just going out on him. Massacrator does get the move done on T-Bop up to P3. And I tell you what, it looks like he's already got some flat spots on his tyres there. Igor has also made the move on Sven the men. I've completely missed that one, just looking at Massacrator's tyres. Not sure where he got that one done. Little bit of a gap starting to form between P6 and P7. There was a big gap between P1 and P3 at one point in time in that first lap, but for whatever reason it has closed up. Janica up to P8 on debut, doing really well so far. Keep him with their teammate, which, yeah, Naked Champ is another reserve driver. Trezina making a big mistake there. Somehow making their way into the gravel, coming back on trap, and Naked Champ making a really smart move round the outside. Massacrator is back in the DRS range of Sven the Man. And I think we have a DRS. No, we don't have a DRS zone here. Is there first straight? And is there? There is DRS here, yeah. First straight, and then obviously the big straight after Eau Rouge. Massacrator though, looking up the inside, can't get alongside. Gonna have a big slipstream here though, that's for sure. All the way up to the chicane. Janica already getting 3-second time penalties. It's only 3 seconds in. Masquerade is up to P2 from like P8 on the grid. Done really well for himself. Actually going completely into gravel, kind of messing up the lap a little bit there. It looks like we kind of have, obviously not as extreme, but a similar situation to... Oh my god. That's lucky. Lucky high one has spun. The championship leader has just spun on their own accord. Down in P14 now. Igor, Massacre and Swen can't be separated here at the front of the grid. Trezina is coming into the pit. It's been a little bit of a mare for him so far. Just really struggled for whatever reason with keeping the car out of gravel. I don't know what happened to Lucky there. It's a weird place to spin. Like, maybe taking too much curb. That's the only thing I can think of. But his teammate is not having such difficulties. Masquerade up into first place, making a move on Igor. And he's looking very strong so far. I was also tempted to include Masquerade in my his P3. Sort of thinking the one time he's had a bad qualifying, maybe his race will be good. But no, instead I went for Fontanu in that P3. Igor and Swenderman are right up here though. T-Bop slowly losing a little bit of ground, it looks like, to these three. Just setting a lightning pace up front, these three. But yeah, T-Bop P4, fantastic position for him to be in so far at this point in time. Ready to capitalise on any errors that happen up ahead. Obviously we've got Naked Champ and Luke just 2 seconds back. And it looks like these guys are a little bit separated now. Let's go on board with Yannicka. Do we actually look at their camera angles? Because I'm not sure if you noticed, but Yannicka's camera is like so far out compared to when we were on board with Lucky. No, we're now far from Lucky, so I don't know how that's happened. Gonna try make the move on Titch. Ooh, good save there from Yannicka as she got, or they got very squirrely on the exit of the bus stop chicane. It looks like the front three are all separated by a little bit of time, and I don't think there'll be a move done here unless someone completely burns their ERS, which probably isn't the right decision to make on lap 5 of a 22 lap race. So this is probably the area where we'll see an overtake. If we do see any, El Truco is going to be the one making a move on Yannicka. Yannicka braking deeper, but El Truco is able to keep the position, and he is going to be the one chasing after Titchy Boom now, who is just defending really well from these two. I always think the McLarens are such a cool team to watch because they always kind of like they don't have the most pure pace out of anyone on the grid, but they're just so consistent and they're always avoiding incidents, always avoiding penalties. So whenever there is some points up for grabs for whatever reason, they always grab it with two hands, and they always seem to do really well on strategy as well. We saw at Brazil, it was a very heavily influenced safety car race. Some great strategies by those two, actually put them up into first in the constructors' tunnels for a while. Yeah, unfortunately they've slowly dropped off from there. I think they're second or third now with Aston Martin. He'd probably expect to be first in first. I think Mercedes have a very strong team, but they had a driver switch up partway through the season, so it's going to be a lot of hard work to claw back where they were. Again, doesn't look like we do see any more. Titsy Boom with a fantastic final sector there. Completely gained a crazy amount of time on Luke. Truco didn't set a bad lap. That's actually his best lap of the race there from Truco. But for whatever reason, Titsy Boom are just absolutely lightning quick final sector, and now it's going to be within half a second of Luke, which is potentially enough to get alongside. Depending on the ERS usage, it's actually not going to be. Pretty poor sector 1 considering they were in DRS, losing time to their best lap, which yeah, you don't really expect when you're in DRS. I guess their previous best lap could have been using a lot of DRS as well, but yeah, probably not using the battery for them to set a slower lap time. Mike is in the pits. This seems very early to go for the pit stop. I don't think you'll drag hards 16 laps. I think when I did this race, I took my mediums 10 laps before doing 12 on hards. Again, I don't think there's a closer battle on track than this one. I think Lucky will be gaining on Charizard, you'd expect, and to be honest, I think those guys will be in this battle at some point soon. But Naked Champ has just gained a massive amount of time on T-Buck as I say that, and potentially with a good exit might have an opportunity to go past the Mercedes driver. Did I just click R1 or is this the camera angle it shows for me? I clicked R1 by accident, didn't mean to, sorry. We're looking for a good run. It doesn't look like he's gaining too much, but now the battery's going on. DRS open. Look at the overspeed. You get just in the slipstream all the way down this straight. Making the move, braking perfectly to get up to P4. Massacre is starting to put a little bit of a gap away from Igor at the top. And it looks like Igor actually putting a little bit of a gap away from Sven as well. Let's go back to Triuko, Yannicka and Titsy Boom and Luke. Doesn't look like there's any moves going on here. All very much matched for pace. So much so that they can't get past, unfortunately. Lucky Highwan has made the move on Charizard. I think that was while we were watching Naked Champ make the move on T-Bop for P4. Lucky slowly making his way up the field, back up into P10 despite that spin, sorry. And actually pretty close to making the move on Yannicka as well. Naked Champ coming into the pits, so does Titsy Boom. Probably committing to the 2-stop. Coming in at this point in time, it feels like it's a little bit too soon to be making a 1-stop work. AJ14 also coming in, as well as Black Charizard and Mighty Chump. We are on board with championship leader Lucky High One though. 6 tenths back from Yannicka, hoping for a good run up Eau Rouge, and potentially another pass from the spin on lap 5. Lot of time gained here, going for the inside at the last moment. Gonna have to break. Yannicka leaving some good room there on the inside. Beautiful defending from Yannicka, keeping Lucky High One behind, who has definitely been quicker on pure pace these past few laps, but some really good defending from the Hungarian driver. keeping Lucky behind. Lucky getting a bit squirrely as well there. Yannick has shown some really good pace at times. Just maybe not quite a consistency just yet, but I'm sure that will come. Obviously, this is their first week at ALR. As they do get a 3-second time penalty for going wide at Puon, unfortunately. It's going to mean Lucky is stuck behind for one more lap at least. Trezina is behind. Well, I'm sorry, Black Charizard and Teacher Boom and all those guys have come out ahead of Trezina. I believe Trezina must have been repairing damage. Igor now into the pits. On lap 9, going for the undercut. This is where you could potentially drag hards to the end. Obviously, boxing one lap early could potentially give you the extra tyre life, as both of these guys come into the pits neck and neck there, Janika and Lucky Haiwan. T-Bob also into the pits, double stacking with his teammate. Probably not the smartest thing to do, as El Trico is in P4, one of the only guys to not pit yet. Couldn't quite get the move done on Luke Boost there. I'm pretty sure these guys are good friends. They've raced together for a long time. Actually, things are getting a bit crazy here for the guys who've pitted. Lucky High One trying to make a move on Black Charizard, couldn't quite get the move done. Black Charizard obviously got his tyres warmed up, was able to defend him. They put on another set of mediums, these guys, committing to the 2-stop. Wow. See, I would have thought we'd have just seen everyone 1-stop in this race, to be honest. I think Font pitted for his wing damage, so he's going to have to 2-stop. Lucky High One going to get a warning for that one there, going really wide. But potentially their first warning of the race, which wouldn't make too much of a difference. Doesn't look like there's any moves up ahead apart from T-Bop on Titchiboom. Obviously lost the place just because he was stuck behind his teammate, because he pitted on the same lap with his teammate instead of staying out one lap further. Swen and Luke both coming into pits, which is a good lap to go into the hards to the end, lap 10. That's what I did when I was helping out here earlier last week. Fontana, don't know where you're going there, mate. Obviously went over the curb, and yeah, Lucky trying to get the move done on Black Charizard here, trying to get it done into the first corner, and does get it done. Is Janika gonna get the move done as well? Black Charizard just so slow off that corner there, just not getting away for whatever reason, couldn't get the grip, and Lucky's gained 6-7 tenths of a second just on exit, just showing like it must be full traction from Black Charizard holding back that much. That is crazy. You're not going to get any moves done if you're getting held back that much out of the slow corners, because Lucky's just almost, obviously he hasn't, but he's almost got out of DRS. Like, that was how substantial that time loss was there. Swenderman does come out in P4 through his pit stop. Igor is in P2 after his pit stop, and Massacrator yet to pit, should come in this lap. He does. It's probably going to come out around Sven the Men. I don't think El Truco's on hard, so he's going to go for another 2 or 3 laps for sure. Igor with a 146.1 on the mediums, going for the 2-stop as well. So many guys going. I'm sure I'll see Masquerader on the hards here, going for the 1-stop, because he's practiced. He knows that the 1-stop was the better strategy from practice, and he does go for the hards. Obviously, El Truco is also on hards, but El Truco's on a warm hards, so this is going to be a tough position for Massa to defend. Not sure what was splatting up there because there was nobody over there. Truca does get the move done into this corner and then doesn't turn in to the 8. He was past. Masquerade's just hung it there on Truca's inside, and Truca sort of panicked and not turned in. Bit bizarre there, and obviously it has cost Truco the opportunity at making that move. Sven the Men is now right on the back of El Truco. I'm sure we'll see Sven go to the end on these hard tyres if he can make him last up into P3. Titchy Boom also trying to get it moved. Oh, contact! McLaren and Ferrari at it again. Look like they interlock wheels there, trying to go side by side through P1. It's not the corner where you go side by side. It's so difficult to make that work. End up sending each other miles wide and put in the lime green Luke Boost car right behind them in slipstream. Interesting. And speaking of interesting, this one is going to get spicy. This next lap, we got 4 cars now. Titchy Boom, Fontanu, Luke Boost, and Lucky High One. The 3 guys who've won races so far this season, sitting in 8th, 9th, and 10th place, back to back to back. Can't be separated. I think all 3 of them need to pit as well. Unless Luke is on the hards, Luke might be able to go to the end, but Lucky and Font definitely need to pit again. Everyone's a little bit spaced out now up ahead, so this is the battle we want to be watching. Lucky is taking a look, but he's not going to get it done. Fontanu is going to get it done. Going in deep though, puts Titchy right on the back of him again. Lucky not really paying attention to what's going on up ahead and has almost lost his front wing running into the back of Luke. Obviously Luke happened to back out the corner, given Titchy was so far ahead of him and he wasn't going to get the move done there. Obviously it all narrows down through that section as you all just need to follow the racing line to make it as fast as possible. If you're side by side through there, you'll probably lose the position to Lucky because of the exit he'd get. There is a battle behind as well. We've got Arctic Squirrel and AJ very close on track. But yeah, these 4 is the battle you want to be watching right now. Lucky looking very racy behind Luke. I might actually go on board with Luke as well through here, because I think Lucky's the one who will be making a move. It looks like Luke might be on the hard compound, so he might be trying to go to the end. Lucky's on the mediums, obviously. And it's actually Titchy Boom. Oh no, it is Lucky that's made the move. Lucky nearly making 2 cars. Sorry, nearly getting past 2 cars in one corner there. But at a very poor exit as he was forced so narrow because of the place where he's made the move and obviously not quite being able to get past. Has dropped him back down to P10. Still side by side these guys. It's been what, 2-3 laps now since these guys came into the pits, and Fontanu now shuffles back down to P3 in the train. Alright, sorry about that. I just had to mute my mic for a second. I think we missed about a lap. And yeah, Massacrator is just within a second of Igor now. Obviously, he went longer on his first stint, and then trying to. I mean, he doesn't need to make the move, does he? He can just chill. See, he's got strategy. Igor's got a pit again. He can just relax. This battle here is still going on. Wait, what? I swear we were watching Luke in this battle. We were watching Luke in this battle. How is Luke now 13 seconds ahead of this guy? Have these not pitted? Yes, they have. Lucky on hards, Titchy on hards, Font on mediums. Well done, Ryan. Jeez. Naked Champ in P8. El Truco in P7. Giannica in P6. Jesus Christ, what an entry into the pits. Thankfully, Luke and Naked Champ were far enough behind, otherwise that could have been absolutely disastrous. Fontanu says fastest lap at a race. Igor has just pitted as well. Sven, I think we'll see try and go to the end. I think Igor is probably going to get Sven though, because Sven pitted so early for those mediums. Like, I don't see how he can keep the position. Obviously, Massacrator, the big gainer so far. Let me try and see. Can I see? You can't see last lap. Is that not a thing? I was trying to see his last lap time to see what kind of gain we'd be seeing between Igor and Sven, but I think Igor might have a chance. Truco looking on course for his best result of the season so far. He is on the mediums. He will be going to the end. He does have Font and Lucky behind him though, who are two guys who are very racy. Do you remember what I was saying about Sven might have a chance at moving into P2? I don't think he's going to. I think, I mean, if he made his way up to first place and it stayed as is, then he would have. Otherwise, he's not gonna. Lucky Highwan saying the fastest lap of the race on mediums. Well, we're on lap 17. 18, 19, 21, 22. We've got 5 laps left. Six laps left, including this one. I think the top 3 should be confirmed. AJ disconnected from the session. See, fortunately they can message me. I didn't see him disconnect. Should be able to rejoin though because of that. His car is in the pits. I'm not sure if he wanted to pit, but his car has decided to pit. Down in P16. Eagle is gaining on Sven. Obviously Sven's tyres are going to completely die because of how early he pitted. But I don't know if Eagle's captured enough right now. Luke obviously going to the end on his tired hards. Naked Champ going to the end. Truco Would be hoping he can get the move done on Naked Jump here for P5. Font and Lucky are hoping they can get the move done on Truco for P5. So we'll see how that one pans out towards the end of the race. Lucky is in a DRS of Fontani. I think this might be the first time these guys have battled on track. I don't remember another instance where they have. Obviously the first race was completely crazy for battles, but Font wasn't here. No, Lucky wasn't here, sorry. So I think this might be the first instance. Lucky is in the slipstream, gaining massively here. Would you have a yellow flag for Mike? Not sure why. I think he must have just spun similar to how Lucky did earlier on. Speaking of Lucky, still trying to gain on Fontani. Obviously there's not much pace separating these guys. Font had that incident lap one with T-Bop. Who is just behind these two. Igor setting fastest lap of the race, and he is slowly edging closer to Sven and Men, so it's going to be one that we'll keep an eye on towards the end of the race. I think I predicted Sven P2, so gonna need him to stay there if I'm gonna get that prediction right. Mike is DNF'd now. Maybe he did have some rear wing damage again. Not sure how he always manages that, but yeah, he's retired. I think he's retired in the pits. Don't ask me why, but I thought that sponsor on the Halo was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So it's Aston Martin Valhalla, and Lucky I1 makes the move. Oh! I would like to see that again. I don't think Font really changed his line there from the stream. Oh, I've just completely smacked my microphone. I think Font was completely carrying on in a straight line, and I think Lucky has just accidentally swiped him. Font doesn't seem to have damage, but Lucky's not giving the position back. That was a weird one. Lucky is also in the DRS of El Truco for when they come around to the timing point. Truco's made a mistake though, so he's dropped off the back of Naked Champ. Despite being on mediums, Lucky's just hit into the back of El Truco there, unsettling his car a little bit more. I mean, it'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on, because I feel like if Lucky does get reported for that incident, we've obviously got the overhead view as well. And if he does get a 5-second time penalty, that would put him behind Font and potentially 3 other cars if he gets this move done on El Truco. 10-second penalty could take him out of the points. Be interesting. Oh, Truco moving a bit too many times there. It was just about okay because Lucky wasn't alongside at any point, but yeah, just need to be careful of how many times you're moving on the straight. Like there was one move to the left, then back to the right, then back to the left. Can't be doing that. A bit of lag there from Font Ramp who on. Yeah, this is just a battle to watch, isn't it? I feel like I've been on this battle for such a long time, but do you know what? Let's go watch Arctic Aero and Mighty Jump for a change. Even though the other battle is going to get to the part with overtakes first, so we'll watch these guys until they get to the chicane, then we'll go back to Arctic Squirrel and Mighty Chump. It looked like Lucky used a lot of ERS last time round. Don't know if he'll do the same this time or if he will try to save it until the end of the race. Truco with a bit of oversteer, shouldn't be a long enough straight. Oh, actually, no, it's going to be a long enough straight for Lucky to get the move done. Fun thought about having a look there, but isn't going to. No, Lucky doesn't get the move done. Goes for the switchback though. And they're going to go up Eau Rouge side by side. Oh, I feel like Gary Neville. It's never a good thing. Don't recommend feeling like Gary Neville to absolutely anyone. What is going on here? Font going around the outside. T-Bot breaking too early, touching the gravel on the inside, but pulls a fantastic move around the outside of the S's on Font. Lucky is now clear of these guys in P6. So despite that massive spin early on, which we thought was going to cost him massively, he's managed to work his way up from about P14, P15 at the time, up into P6. Really, really mega drive from him. Arctic Squirrel does get the move done on Mighty Chump as well, which I probably should have gone and looked at. And we're actually on lap 22. Oh my god. Oh, it's just because Massacrator has just come over the line to start at lap 22. We do need to stay on board with this one though, as we've now picked up a McLaren, picked up Titchibin back in this queue, lost Lucky at the front of the queue. Not sure how many time penalties Titchibin has. Titchibin only has 3 seconds, so yeah, a 10-second penalty for Lucky would drop him outside, oh well, behind Titchibin, down to P10, but we'll see if it gets reported and we'll see if he gets penalised for it. Fontanu looking for a move. Ooh, judge that to perfection there. So close to taking out his rear. Arctic Squirrel DNFs, unfortunately. It's an easy corner to make a mistake on that one. You can just see the yellow flag at the bottom of the track. Great move from Fontanu. El Truco going to be losing another place here to Titchibin, who might be going for the move on the Ferrari as well. He's just boxed in. El Truco is going to make the move on the Ferrari though. There's contact. Titchibin round the outside of El Truco, and Font has somehow stayed in P8 there. I don't know how. Titchibin's going to lose the pace regardless, so if I was Font I would have probably cared more about defending from El Truco than defending from Titchibin, but never mind, he has decided to not do that. And now I do need to go on board for Massacrator, who's going to come across and take his first victory in ALR. Second is Swenderman. Third is Igor. Not quite going to have enough pace on the 2-stop strategy as I predicted. Luke Boost is going to lose P4, but I think he will get P5. Naked Champ will come home in P4. Just another really good result from Naked Champ. He's just been really solidly improving so far this season. Igor, P4, obviously dropping to just 1 place behind Naked Champ, who takes P4. Luke Boost P5. Lucky will come home P6. I'm sure we'll see him in the steward's room though, but we'll see. T-Bop P7. Fontani will take home P8 with Titchibin dropping down to P10. El Truco P9. Trezina just missing out on the points, unfortunately for him. Yannicka on debut coming home in P13, battling with Black Charizard, and then we got Mighty Chump and AJ14 further back. But yeah, that's our race at Spa. Massacrator with his first victory of the season. Big result that for the Aston Martin team. That's 4 wins in a row for Aston Martin, by the way. Like, these guys are on fire right now. Igor with P3, that's his second podium of the season. Naked Champ backing up his podium last week with a P4. Obviously, Luke P5, solid result for him. Probably will make some moves up in the standings as well. Lucky's going to extend his title fight or title lead for now over Fontanu. But yeah, in terms of driver of the day to day, I'm gonna have to give it to Massacrator with his first victory in ALR, starting from like P8 and managing to get the race win. And yeah, I'm not gonna give the driver of the day to Lucky. I'm gonna give it to Massacrator personally. But yeah, this is the race results and the time boards for everyone who needs it. 39 minutes 52 seconds was the race winning time. 1 DNF, just ALR Mike Sands. And yeah, thank you to everyone for watching. Tune into next week's race at Mexico.